Welcome to the Viking Horn, official podcast of the Nottingham Vikings Ball Hockey Club, sponsored by the Nottingham legend, Maxi Muscle Sports Nutrition, Motorpoint Car Buying and the Stapleford Snooker Club. You can find out more about our club on our website and on all social media. For YouTube channel viewers, you'll see the links on screen. Anyway, let's sound the Viking Horn. Hello everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Pete Allen and today I'm joined by Mike Lee, Benny Tring, Andy Binns and Tyrone Anderson. Coming up very shortly, as promised, we pick our very top lines from the Central Conference ball hockey. How are we doing, guys? All right?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yep. Good. Good to see you. All good, thank you. Before we go into that, I just want to touch on, obviously, some recent events. So I feel recently we've witnessed the very best and the worst sides of the world we live in and humanity, let's face it. On one side, you've had the NHS and your carers they're putting their lives at risk to save others. People going out doing shopping for those that can't do it, looking after the elderly and people that need the care, just basically caring for each other, everyone getting around each other and helping each other out, which is brilliant. On the other hand, more recently, we've got the George Floyd incident. A man who seemingly has become a victim of police brutality, which has raised racial issues globally. Now, this isn't a reflection on all police, nor is it only an issue in America, this certain incident. On the flip side of it, I might remember a video went viral not too long ago of a policeman in America where there was a complaint about too much noise of some kids playing basketball on a road in America. He came along, looked at it, didn't tell him off, didn't do anything. Do you know what he did? He went away, he came back, he brought one of the biggest basketball stars on the planet back with him, Shaquille O'Neal. And they all shot free throws, played some ball together. I think he even gave him some money if they made the free throws, then gave him $100, okay? Just for the record, that policeman was white, okay? So I firmly believe there's more good than bad in this world. I've come out of it with these certain thoughts and outlooks on life, which I've always believed, but I feel now with the platform and with what's happening, I would like to share it. I've become thankful coming out of this that I've been provided with an upbringing which has led me to not judge an individual on their skin colour, sexuality or beliefs. I'm also very thankful for all of my friends, especially my best friends, Tyrone and Benny, who are both on the show here. One being white and one being of mixed race. Two guys who I simply see as my best friends and human beings who I love and would do anything to help them in life. With that,
yeah, one of them is a better hockey player than the other, though.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. They don't get injured as much. You don't get injured as much either. With that, I put this together, and I think you have two choices in life. Okay, you fill yourself with hatred for people and things just because they might be a little different to you or have different beliefs, which in effect can have the results in the events that we're seeing now. Which is awful. Let's face it, it's not a good time. Or on the other side, you're a proud member of the human race, which is made up of all races, nationalities, and religions. You work hand in hand with each other to achieve great things like the NHS and other health services all around the world. And they're achieving greatness on a daily basis. They're saving everyone's life. It don't matter who they are, what colours their skin, what they believe in. They'll do whatever they can to help your life. and save your life, no matter who it is. Another example of something great that the human race has achieved recently. Look at NASA, made up of people of all religions, all races, people from all over the world plugging together. And they did something amazing recently. They put someone in space. They put 2 people in space. It's one of the greatest things people on this world could do. Unbelievable. So, like I say, you work together, you achieve greatness. Could it be any easier than that? You know, what world would you rather live in? And that's all I've got to say on that. I just thought it was important to say that. You know, I feel lucky to be a part of a setup and a sport and a team that invites anyone to play the sport that we love. And I feel that's important to say. I just touched on the NASA sending SpaceX to last week, wasn't it? I've got to say the teamwork that we used through Facebook to try and spot these things was pretty impressive, if I'm honest. I think I'd recently moved into a 3-story house, which had its advantages where I could see a little bit over the top of the village I live in now. I was there. I was like, I think I can see a light in the very far distance. Turned out to be a plane, but, you know, it got everyone excited for a few moments. I did, and we were connecting what we were saying, you know, can we see it? Who's seen it? So who did see it in the end?
Yeah, I think seeing the, not the space shuttle, but we've seen the space station fly over.
Yeah, I seen the space station, and I'm almost certain I seen the actual rocket. However, I seen that quite late, and it wasn't what I expected. I actually expected the rocket to be about the same sort of brightness as the space station, but it might not have been the rocket. It might have been a random satellite, because it came when I seen it. It was a lot later than expected, and I think I messaged the group when we were trying to find it, and it was just basically through a set of houses. I'd missed it going under the moon, so it was difficult. But I was impressed by the teamwork. I think together we got there. And at least we've seen the space station. That was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a short story to tell about that, actually, because like you, I was out in the garden trying to spot it. And I guess what I was trying to do, because it's pretty momentous occasion, I was trying to put some music together to, you know, signify the occasion. So I put this sort of mix soundtracks on of anything from David Bowie, anything space themed, really. So I probably put it on a bit early because, you know, we even had, you know, 2001: A Space Odyssey and a couple of other things. And then when it did eventually appear, and this was a space station going across the sky, the next track came on, and it was the Firm Star Trekking, and it kind of lost all the atmosphere because, you know, Klingons on the starboard bow as it was going across the horizon on exactly the, you know, reflecting the momentous occasion. But yeah, it was funny nevertheless anyway. But I did see it. I didn't see the other one. I saw the space station.
So between us, we got a result, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
Excellent. So just want to touch on something else. Something else brilliant happened to me yesterday. Right? I feel like I need to touch on it. And so I'm driving down a one-way street in my car, and I come behind a cyclist. The right way, luckily, yeah. I'm behind a cyclist on his road bike, lycra's on, everything. I haven't got a massive problem with these people. It's fine. It's great fitness, right? But he did something very special, which I've never had done before, okay? He's on this street, driving down. He realises quite quickly there's 2 or 3 cars behind him, and he's not as fast as a car. And instead of doing what, let's face it, a lot of people do, frustrate you by continuously driving in the middle of the road, slowing everything down, because they think that that's fine. It's very frustrating for the drivers behind them. But do you know what this guy did? He pulled off and went and started driving on the path so he could get out of the way and the cars could just drive past. no delays on this one-way street. And, you know, I thought, what a guy. And I don't know if all you drivers, have you ever had this experience before? You know, not all heroes wear capes. I thought, what a guy for doing that, you know. Because it can get frustrating when you come behind these cyclists. And again, I don't want to knock them too much. You know, it's great fitness and it's a good hobby to have. But I've never had anyone when they know they're slowing the cars down behind them, just move over to the path. He's still riding and we're still driving, and everything just carries on as normal.
Some heroes do wear lycra.
That is true. Yeah. So if you're listening, you're a hero.
Thank you. No, wasn't me.
Okay,
was it you?
Not in lycra. No way. You would not want to see that. You wouldn't pull past me. You'd crash into the back of me.
Maybe that's something we could sort out for a future podcast. We send Mike out on a road bike with some lycras on, video it, and we'll discuss the results openly.
Yeah. Anyway, what's the next section? What's the next segment?
So, Mike, it's all about you. Let's Mike, have a word about ball hockey.
Yeah. Okay. You might have listened to the last podcast. I put together a pre-recorded video, and it really just explains the basics of ball hockey. Because for me, I'm fairly new. I've only really been playing it like a couple of years, and I thought it'd be really good just to have a bit of an introduction, just to explain what it is. So in my best posh accent, because I'm not originally from Nottingham, here it is. What is ball hockey? Ball hockey is a fast-paced team sport, similar to ice hockey, except the game is played on foot on a non-ice surface and an orange ball is used instead of a hockey puck. Player checking isn't allowed, which means you don't need all the expensive protective gear that you do with ice hockey. It's a great game to hone your fitness and stick handling skills. It's also a great alternative to five-a-side football if you fancy trying something different. A helmet is mandatory for training if you're 17 or younger. However, they are compulsory for league games regardless of age, and you do need to be 16 or older to play in the senior league. We play in the BHUK Central Conference League, playing out of Nottingham. So why not come down to one of our practice sessions? They're held between 7 and 8:30 p.m. on Friday nights at the Nottingham Sports and Fitness Centre in Clifton. We supply the kit, and everyone of any age, ability or gender is absolutely welcome. Check out our website and social media for updates to see when our training sessions will recommence. Hope to see you there.
Thank you. So this week we've put out on social media about the junior Vikings that we're looking to formulate. So far I've had great response to this from a lot of parents asking like when it is and like can the kids join, what ages, etc. So we're looking to do 3 teams to start off with: under 16, under 13, and under 10. It's basically like any child above probably 5 years of age can join in. It's going to be on Friday nights at the Clifton Sports Hall for training. So if you are interested or your kids are interested, just drop us a message and get in touch.
Thanks a lot, Andy. So as Andy says, you know, we have had some really good interest recently, and it's great. It's great that I've got that going forward. When we do start up, we can get cracking with our juniors. So looking forward to it. Right, it's time to move on to the main event. Our top lines. Before we go into it, why are we picking a team? What have we done? Why should we be picking a team? Well, many of us are seasoned ball hockey players and coaches. Between us, we've amassed about 30 seasons, and we've won numerous trophies. Starting off with me, I was actually the first coach amongst us to actually win a trophy. And I think that actually inspired our current Vikings coach to become a better man and a better coach. I've won the playoffs. I think it was our first season at Reapers, Tyrone, Benny?
It was.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic that was as well.
That was amazing. It was an amazing experience. Won the playoffs in our first season. I was assistant coach during the Reapers B unbeaten season, where we also won the league and playoffs. And I've also won the league and the playoffs with the Vikings last year. Benny, you're considered a ball hockey great and likely to be entered into the Hall of Fame, obviously. Tell us your story.
So it's a pretty similar story to you. Started coaching ball hockey coming up to 11 years ago now. In that time, I've won various trophies as well. So led the team to their first playoff trophy that you were a part of, along with Tyron. In those games, we beat some of the best teams in the league to take that trophy. Since then, I've coached various teams. I've coached for 2 different clubs. I've been involved with GB for the last 3 years as well. But in more recent times, I have been the head coach to greatness on 2 unbeaten seasons, which has led us to 2 league trophies and 2 more playoff trophies as well.
Yeah. Can I just adjust the screens a little bit because I'm struggling to fit both your heads in?
You wait till you've won all your trophies, Mike, and then you'll need to get a wider screen. So
we're the reason you've joined us.
Yeah,
obviously.
Tyrone, you started at the same time as me, as we've just discussed, the Reapers team. Tell us what else you've done. Obviously, you starting from the top.
Yeah, so same as yourself, Pete. We started off when we were going down to South Notts, I think it was called back then. Going down to West Bridgeford School. Fantastic times that was. Led us on to the Reapers.
That was with the Outlaws, right? That was with the Outlaws.
Yeah, South Notts Outlaws.
Trained with them for a season, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. We got a taste for it. Moved on to Reapers. As we said, we won the playoffs. Absolutely fantastic day that was. Brilliant to score in the semi-final. I'm going to put that one out there as well. That was a fantastic moment. You just got a taste from it there. Went on to move to the tier tournaments, nationals, winning that. Since then, really, I suppose I've become a bit of a journeyman. I've played for a number of teams, ranging from the Steelers, guest appearing for the Bears at national tournaments, and to be fair, as I said in the first podcast which we did, is just getting around and just enjoying the game and playing the game with other people and getting to know them. So I think, to be fair, a lot of the people which I'm going to have in my team, I've played alongside with at some point or played against, and yeah, it's been really good. So I think I've got a really strong lineup here.
Good man. Mike and Andy, so both of you are pretty new to the game still. I don't know if you've been around the game even a year yet, maybe touching a year, but even so, with that, you must have achieved some short-term goals. Now, me, from seeing you guys since you both started, the improvements you guys have both made has been fantastic based on your dedication to training and seeing out in lockdown, you've been doing your training, fantastic. So just talk us through some things you've achieved since you started playing, some short-term goals.
Yeah, I'll go first if that's all right, Andy. I think I'm particularly qualified to pick a team tonight because I think my hockey history, I've had 1 assist this year, ever.
Andy, sorry, but Mike, that's so you're laughing about that, but how?
It was with the Phoenix.
Yeah. So do you know when you see your name on a sheet that you've assisted or scored a goal? It's your first goal. I know how I felt when I scored my first goal. I love scoring goals, whether it was in any sport. It's a great feeling, right? And it's something it does make you feel good. Like I say, scoring a goal or an assist is. I know Tyrone he likes looking for an assist, whether he was on the field or not.
Yeah,
it is a really good feeling. So, Mike, but well done. You might laugh that that's what you've achieved so far, but it's a start, and let's hope you score plenty of goals and more assists going forward.
Yeah, Andy, all joking apart, the thing for me 2 years ago, and Benny will know as well as me about this, I pretty well couldn't. Well, I couldn't walk. Anyone that knows me will know I completely ruptured my Achilles tendon, and did it so badly. Actually, I had to have surgery in the end. And it's pretty depressing at the start because, I was thinking, what am I going to do? So I wanted to take up something that was a bit more physical, because prior to that I was just playing snooker. Admittedly, I probably didn't choose the best sports in that I've taken up ball hockey and ice hockey for like safety and consideration about future injuries. But it was a real driving force, just thinking, I really wanted to, in my case, get on the court and actually be able to play ball hockey and play in a competitive game. And, that first day where I was able to actually go out and put in a couple of shifts and actually play, I thought, well, I didn't make any mistakes. Basically, that was that was the thing I was aiming for. I was pretty proud of myself to, that 2-year journey to come through that and be able to play, really. So I'm looking forward to playing again. You have
every right to be proud of yourself, Mike.
And your face when you'd played those few shifts as well, it was mesmerising to see. Just looking at you, could see there was pure enjoyment in your face, and I think that's what we all come down for, and it was really nice to see.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, it certainly was.
Well done, Andy. What about you, mate?
So I joined just over a year ago with the Vikings and stuff. It was just to get me out on a Friday night. Because years ago, you always used to do like a lot of running and like different activity events, like the Spartan courses and stuff. But working away from home kind of like lost my fitness levels. So for me, it was about getting my fitness levels back up, which they've probably dropped back up, down again over the last 2 months. But yeah, actually getting out on the field and actually, I think I've got 1 assist on one of the shifts that I've been on when we played up at Ponds Forge. So that was a great achievement for me.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Well done. Well done to you both. And like I said, you're both dedicated to the club and you're dedicated to improving and moving on. And like I say, more assists, more goals, and just keep going, guys. You're fantastic stuff. So as we've just discussed, Mike and Andy haven't been around for that long, so we thought it'd be a bit unfair for them to have to pick a team of their own. What they're actually going to do is they're going to sort of host this part of the podcast, and they will talk us through a special PK line that they've come up with at the end of this. So that's really good that they're involved in that. Mike and Andy, over to you if you want to just discuss the rules, and then let's go through it. Let's go through our top lines.
The rules are you can choose 2 forwards, 2 D-men, and like all ladies, and a goalie. You can choose 1 player per club, so you can only have 1 player from the club that you're going to choose. You can select a player from any tier, but they must be in the Central Conference, and they must have played at least 1 game this season.
And also, just to put in to save any embarrassment, and also having to save space on all of our lines, as obviously there'll be simple choices. We've said we're not going to pick anyone else on the podcast.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
so
not pick anyone from the podcast.
Obviously, it'd be made too easy for people by doing that. So we've put that rule in place. So back over to you, guys.
Okay, well let's kick off with you then, Pete. Let's see who you've got lined up. Do you want to? Should we do goalies first? Let's see. Yeah,
goalies first. So in goal, I've gone for David Grant. The reason I've gone for David Grant is based on I love passion. Okay, and this guy is majorly passionate about the game. He loves playing it. He's achieved many things also away. He's done great things away from playing as well, and I like that about him as well. He's a top guy, always nice to me. He always says hello. From playing, he'll make no denials. He's a big guy, but when I played against him, he's a big guy in his goal, which automatically makes him hard to beat. But he also moves around well in his goal, I've always found that when the teams that we play against him, we've found it hard to get the ball past him. He gets around the goal very well. and like I say, it's easy to say, but he's a nice guy, and my top reason is because of how passionate he is and how much he loves the game, and is a good goalkeeper, netminder, I should say.
All right, Benny.
So I've gone for someone different. I've gone for Phil Paddison. He's Hull River Kings netminder. I've gone for him. He is joined at the same time as Vikings did last year into Tier 3, and he's made some interesting games. He's kept Hull in a lot of games. It came down to the wire between, was it going to be us or Hull who was going to win the league and the playoffs? And he's similar to David Grant in terms of he can fill the net. He's a reasonably big guy, and he's got some movement as well. And he's one of those where if you want to score on him, you've got to really work that ball around him and try and put him out of position. It's not the easiest of things to do.
Yeah.
Sorry, just the best. What some of the best pride you get when you score a goal is when you're playing and you're scoring against someone who's having a great game and against the top netminders. And I remember scoring against him this season actually, and your celebration is just a bit extra because you know how well he's playing and how good he is.
Is this against Phil? Is this against Phil? Yeah.
Yeah, and it was fantastic. He's a really good netminder. That's a top choice for me.
He did have a really good game against us as well this season.
Yeah, he did.
I remember,
he's one of those that always turns up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consistent.
I remember when the ball was pulled across by Kev, and literally I was going away with my stick up, and he pulled something out I've never ever seen before. I was like, "Wow, this guy is really good. He is really good. Really.
He's
good.
also a great
good
character. He's also a great character off the court as well, isn't he?
He is. He's brilliant. He's got a lot of banter to go with his skill.
So, Ty, you obviously rate him pretty highly, but have you chosen a different name for yourself?
Yes, I have chosen a different name. I think for myself, I particularly like teams to play with aggression and basically attack the net. So I've gone for Rob Pacey in there because I think Rob is a fantastic netminder. He keeps his position well, and basically Pacey for me is just one of the best netminders in the league. He's moved to Arnold now, which has unfortunately taken a lot of other people out of my team. So people like Hayden, I've not been able to pick. Reese now, Tom Cole. I was also going to go for maybe Mance as well because again he's a quality netminder. But yeah, for me, veteran, definitely a veteran of the game. But yeah, Rob Pacey for me in net.
Okay.
No, you'll be getting a pint from him next time you're in the pub then, Ty.
So before we move on to the D's then, Pete did mention that we were just going to have maybe a couple of entries based on a PK line. So for goalie, I would have gone for Morgan actually because, just the number of times he's pitched in and helped out other teams. He's a top guy as well. But actually my choice is going to be, surprisingly, Joel Lindley on the basis, he played one game for us, but it's actually solely on the basis that he was going to buy everyone KFC afterwards.
Yeah. But on the other hand, I've never seen it.
Well, yeah, it was only if he got a shutout.
So if ever, not that is a blackmail pick, but if you want to see it like that, Joel, feel free to do so.
Right then, guys.
We did actually go to KFC after that game, didn't we? But we all bought it ourselves.
Yeah, I think he did watch us. He watched us. Yeah, he watched us do it as well with a smile on his face. So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Right then. So what about D's then? What we got?
My first D man is Craig Riley of Long Eaton. The best D partner I've ever had, and I've had a lot, thanks to my coach. And but there, when Craig was at the Reapers, when I was at Reapers, even my game was more based on being a bit of a stay-at-home defenseman, which some might say I should probably concentrate more on now. But by playing with Craig, he was a very forward-thinking defenseman. He could do it going forward. He could do it being at the back. But with me being that stay-at-home defenseman, that allowed us to gel really, really well. And there was an amazing link there. And actually, I've developed my game now where I go forward a lot more than what I used to. And I actually put the vast majority of that down to me watching what Craig did, because he'd been playing hockey a lot longer than I have since he was younger. And for him, for me, like, that's a lot of it that is down to him, because I watched what he did on a regular basis during games and training. So the way I've adapted my game, I owe to him, and is a fantastic guy and a fantastic player. It's
interesting you mention Craig, actually. I've had the privilege of being able to coach alongside Craig when he was captain of Reapers, and he's a solid lefty, so you've managed to get a lefty in your team.
Yeah.
He played a lot of roller hockey, like saying in his younger years, as well, so he's got a hockey head. But I can remember him always saying to me he bases his hockey style on an ice hockey player called Mike Reese, who some of us may remember as a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Well. So very great player. So that's a solid pick, that one, mate.
Yeah, that was a bit of a no-brainer for me, because, like I say, I've said it before, I learned a lot from how he played as a D-man, and I wanted to be up there scoring goals, getting assists, but obviously primarily I'm a defenseman, and I love blocking shots and staying back. But there's a part of me, I've got the pace. I love running forward, and by doing that, developing that side of my game, I score a lot more goals and get plenty of assists as well. And and it was a privilege to play with Craig. And you know what? Hopefully, I get the chance to play with him again sometime while playing hockey. My second pick is Wayne Newman of Hull. So I picked him, maybe not mainly because, but he's a big motor racing fan. I feel, us guys need to stick together. I get a lot of stick from, say, mainly Tyrone and Benny about my motor racing.
Gosh.
And I feel like as racing fans need to stick together in times like these, when we're getting abuse from all angles. Again, though, he's a passionate guy. First time I played against Hull, he was the guy I picked out. He loved the game, very passionate, believed in his team, and was trying to get his team going all the time. I think I even said to him, I say to him, I never played against him the small amount of times it's been, and I feel like he's had a bad game. Last time I played against him, I think, was it him that got the bloody nose because of through Down syndrome injury? Was it Wayne?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, and he went off for a minute or so, came straight back into the game as like nothing ever happened. So an absolute warrior as well. I think he's quite similar. I think he's quite a bit of a similar player to myself in a sense. I know he likes going. He does go forward a little bit, and he ain't bothered about blocking shots and getting a few bruises. I think his Twitter handle says is a shot blocker, I should say. And it couldn't be any closer to the truth. He's a top guy as well, really good player.
Okay, good stuff. What about you, Benny?
So I've picked a Viking as one of my defensive players, and I'm sure everyone's going to be listening with bated breath as to find out whose coach's favourite and made it into the team. And I've had to go back to the days of when I used to play, who was my live partner, and I've gone with Dan Harness. The reason I've gone with Dan, he will forecheck. Sorry?
He carried you.
He carried me, yeah. He made me look good. So I think with Dan, he is one of those guys who will forecheck hard, he'll back check hard. His shot is something that people don't stand in the way of. So already I'm adding quite a lot of offence to my team just by having him in defence. It was a tough pick. Obviously, there's lots of Vikings defencemen I want to go for. But for me, Dan Harness is the one that's made it into my elite team. The other one, I've gone over to the Wolves club, and I've gone for Hayden Johnson. Again, someone who can attack the ball hard. He will forecheck, he'll back check. And if you consider Dan's shot, Hayden's shot is equally as good. So both my lefty and my right D, doesn't matter who you ping it to, it's going to go bar down in, and the goal is going to stand no chance. So both two very wicked shots and two very fast, agile defensemen.
Okay, Ty.
So as I mentioned before, basically based my team on attacking play. That's the way I particularly like to play. As attacking as possible. So the names I've got might feel a bit weird why you put them in defence, because they equally can play up front and in the offence. But first of all, I started with Curtis Allsop. Absolutely fantastic player. Whenever we go to, when they used to play in Greasley in that little small hall, really, yeah, he's a forward, but he was always put in D. For some reason, me and him, I was always marking him. Don't know why. I think it was Ben's little thing to put me next to him to stop his shots, and he's got one hell of a shot. If you're in front of it, you know about it. So again, that's a bonus of having him in D. Shots on net all the time. He pitches up, he comes back. So for me, he's definitely got to be in my team. So he's the first person there.
What club's he at the minute, Ty?
Greasley,
yes.
And then my second one, equally again, is a forward, but again I've put him in defence. Is Sam Renshaw from Steelers. Excellent player. He's what hasn't this guy got? He, again, as I say, he's got a hard shot. He runs non-stop. He reads the game really well. For me, them two as a partnership would be absolutely fantastic. You could put them up there, bring them back, absolutely fantastic. What more would you want? I think I've got the winning team there already.
Nice. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I've already picked one of our guys for goal. So me personally, I've learned a lot from Ben and Daryl. Both of those have really been, really helped me a lot out in training and in games. But clearly, I can't pick either of those guys. So the other team that I've got a bit of experience of watching is Sheffield Knights, and we've already mentioned David Grant. So I would mention Ben Clark, who's was captain. I don't know if he's actually retired. I don't know if he's coaching now. I suppose Matty, Gareth, but the guy I'm going to pick is actually Charlie Dowell. Again, from the limited games I've watched, I know he plays a bit of ice hockey, but he seems to have a lot of awareness. He's got really good movement, and I'd certainly pick him as one of my D. And I said after that, my experience is a bit limited in the league, really. So, I don't know about you, Andy. I don't know if there's anyone that you've seen or from a team that you can think of. You might not necessarily know.
My experience is quite limited as well.
Yeah.
The team so far.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So we're on to forwards now. Then the interesting bit. So.
So easy choice for me. This one, first forward, Reece Bull. He has the same number as me, number 94. In fact, when I spent a year at Nottingham Wolves, I played for the Nottingham Dire Wolves for a season. In fact, I don't even play for the whole season, but we obviously then had the issue that we had the same number. So we went up, sort of discussed it. I goes, look, before you go on, Reece, you can have my number. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I'll go to 49 for you. Believe that if you want, but it might have been the other way around, really. 94, sticking together. Fantastic player. Represents the country with pride. Scores plenty of goals up and down the court. Amazing. Mum and dad are lovely. Always come and speak to me. Very complimentary. His dad calls me Mr. Point a game. And I've got a lot of time for him and his brothers. His brothers, all of them play the game as well, and they're all top players. That's a lot. If I had to pick 3 or 4 lines, I'd probably put his brothers, at least one of his brothers, on every line. I think they're all really good players. So, but Reece has made it. I don't know what I was going to say. Brilliant player, brilliant lad. Gone with a Viking from his other forward, Kev Wilding. What can I say? Guy never stops running. For a little bloke, you know, he gets himself about, puts himself in the thick of things. Great guy, amazing lad. We actually did the 3 Peaks challenge together. Me, him, my wife, and Jamie Parker last year. Amazing experience, and Kev was, you know, it was great that he used the same things he uses on the court playing ball hockey as he does climbing mountains. You know, the only thing that I think might have been a bit of a stumbling block for him. I seen the first time I've ever seen him panic in anything was when we were at the top of Snowdon, the last mountain, and to get to the very peak, we had to get through this narrow, icy. Climb up this narrow, icy section. It was so narrow. We had to help each other up to get. And there was. We got through it. We're at the top, and I was doing this long Facebook Live video, so telling everyone we're all right. We got there. So I'd see a bit of panic in his face, and the panic in his face was based on the fact that he thought we had to slide down or get down that narrow bit of ice to get back down Snowdon. And it was he was looking at me as though he's thinking, look, you ain't doing your podcast now. I want to get down this mountain, you know. And but that was a funny moment. It's the only time I've ever seen him panic or anything about anything. He was generally would, but...
You've told me that you'll caught the train up Snowdon.
Trains weren't running. We saw the station for a couple of hours. We gave up in the end. But, no, to do that with him was a great experience, and I wanted to mention that. And to do it with him was amazing. Great lad, top player. You know, he plays with you, Tyrone, on your line quite often.
He does.
I think you'll agree. Amazing player. So yeah, that was really the main reasons I put him in. And you never know, I might be looking at a deal on a car at some point, so I thought it might be worth putting him in just in case.
Okay, in that case, we'll go straight on to Benny then.
Brilliant. Okay, so I've got 2 forwards. The first one I've gone for is from Long Eaton Lightning, and I've gone for Owen Bradley. Owen played for me in my unbeaten season with Reapers B, highest point scorer at that point. He actually played alongside Kevin that season as well. So he played really, really well. But I thought with Owen, I know I'm going to get some goals. I know I'm going to get some assists. I know I'm going to get time on the ball. But also I'm going to get a lot of great publicity, seeing as he used to work for the BBC and now works for Derby County on their journalism side. So
the one reason he didn't make my team, by the way.
Sorry?
The one reason he didn't make my team was based on his Derby County affiliation, but nothing personal, Owen.
So I've got Owen, and I know straight away with Owen in the face-off circle, I'm not chasing the ball. I've already won it. The next one I've gone for is the man himself, Mr. Steve Bozzy Bosworth. That guy can shoot the ball from in between his feet. It can be far away from him. It doesn't matter where the ball is, it's going in the net straight away. And a lot of people try to mark him, but even then he's guaranteeing you 4 or 5 goals a game, without a doubt. So I thought with the D that I've got, and Owen as well, Owen can do the running for Bozzy, just lay it off to Bozzy, and Bozzy's going to find that net with the curve that he manages to put on the ball.
Yeah, because you're never going to get a pass from Bozzy. So yeah, it's always going to be the shot. So yeah.
The thing is, though, the defenses never become wise to it, though, do they? Like, he still gets into that same area, free of barely anyone around him, and just shoots. And fair play to him, but
he just sets himself shot. That's it. 1-2. That's it.
Yeah, there's no messing around with him. It's
No
ball on stick, in net, done. Let's go back to the centre circle.
He doesn't even celebrate, does he?
No. He knows he's going to score now. He's just run out of sellers. He's just gone, right, there we go. There's another one.
Imagine being in that position.
What club, Steve, with now?
Hawks.
Great stuff.
Okay, finally, Ty, what's your selection?
Okay, so as I've mentioned, my team is all about attacking play. So the first person I've gone for is Ben Hitchen of Long Eaton Lightning. We've spoke about, some players here who's got everything. Well, I tell you what, Ben Hitchen has got everything. He's got a cracking shot. He puts his body on the line. If you want someone to wind someone up, you would get Ben. Because he will do that regardless, and he'll just laugh about it after. And to be fair, yeah, as I say, he's just a fantastic player. And I was fortunate in my first couple of seasons to play alongside Ben. I'd probably say some of the best seasons I've had with him because of the reasons I've said before. Just constant smiles, laughter the whole time. But Ben, he wants to win. So me and him used to have a few arguments every now and again. Probably because I couldn't control my speed from now and again, which we mentioned before, which would lead me to go offside quite a bit. Or we might have an argument because he just didn't pass it me and I was open wide. But you know what? To credit to him, if he didn't pass it to me, he was likely doing the right thing because it was going in the back of the net. So, who can I say? What can I say there? Fantastic player.
In a past podcast, Ty, didn't you blame offside on everyone else but yourself, but now you've just admitted it's you?
Well,
and didn't you also say that you were better than Ben and you made Ben the person he is?
To be fair, on these times, when I was offside, it was because he was dilly-dallying on there. But to be fair, when he wasn't dilly-dallying and he was just taking it over, I was just running to net to try and get the rebound. But yes, it used to get me a little bit annoyed when he'll stop about a centimetre just before the line and decide to play a little trick. To which, when we was going back to the bench, I used to let him know about it every single time. And Jane used to just be watching on, just laughing. But yeah, brilliant.
I always thought you were having a competition to see how many points you could get and who got the most points. So when you thought he might be running in to get, you just step over the line, move gets whistled up, and no goal gets scored. That's what I always think happened.
Well, I will put it out there to say that in one of the seasons, I can't remember which one it was, I actually got the most points in that season. So actually, I outdid Ben. So yeah,
it all paid
quite a few
off
goals on there. It did. It did. I don't think he was too happy about it, but it's one of them things. And also, just the final thing to mention with Ben as well is he would always put his body on the line as well. So if you're 6-7-0 down, he won't accept 50%. So when Coach Benny talks about, putting your body on line all the time. Doesn't matter whether you're, third period, if you're 5-0 down, whatever, it stops there. That's it. Third period, you go out, it's 0-0, start from the beginning again. And this guy, he just, he doesn't stop until it's the end, final buzzer. The second person who I've got is, and he's doing all right here, isn't he? We've got Kev. Probably for the same
Someone else needs a car.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah,
how's your Audi?
Yeah, well, the Audi's it's a bit broken at the moment. So hint, hint, Kev, new car and all that. But yeah, again, Kev, what can I say? The guy don't stop. The guy does not stop. I mean, I thought, well, my fitness at the moment is absolutely horrendous. But back, I would say 10 years ago, I think when I used to play, I would just non-stop, just run around like just run all the time. But this guy is just phenomenal. I'm really lucky to be on a line with Kev. So, you know, Kev's been blessed, hasn't he, with line mates, myself, Owen. He's a lucky boy. So yeah, for me, for me, Kev, because I guess, you know, yeah.
That sounds a little bit like you may be suggesting, contradicting yourself a little bit, why you're suggesting that Kev's success and play is down to the people he's played with, not necessarily the hard work he puts in.
Ty would have chosen himself if he could have done.
Well, you've just put my final comment in there, because what I was going to say is the rules were you couldn't put yourself in. So in this team, when I look at it, I think Rob Pacey, Curtis Allsop, Sam Renshaw, Hitchin. I had to pick someone who's like me, and Kev is like me. So you know, he was.
I'm sure.
Humble.
I'm sure he'd say exactly the same. I'm sure he'd say exactly the same. Yeah.
I think we'll have to wait for Kev's comments on all of this.
Interview with Kev Wilding coming next time.
Yeah, it could come next time. So Kev, based as I put you in my team to say basically you are me, I am going to commit to you that during this period, this extended period of us not being here, next couple of weeks, I'm going to put the effort in, and I'm going to come back a fitter and stronger man just for you, because you deserve it.
Is that so? Doesn't have to carry you anymore?
Well, yeah, that's so you don't get fed up with me. That's he wants to do line, mate.
So after the last podcast where you were actually looking for a club that was going to give you a better offer, I guess you didn't find one that was going to offer you a car, and now you're coming back so Kev can do you a deal.
He only liked the Instagram page yesterday, didn't he? He only followed the Instagram page yesterday.
It become a bit of a needs must situation.
Oh, the commitment. Right. So before we have a final discussion, possibly on coaches, I don't know, I'll leave that to the guys. Well, I've kind of exhausted my players, because obviously I've taken them from Knights and from us. But I was going to mention Kev as well for his speed. Speaking to a couple of guys from other teams, they've actually acknowledged how difficult he is to play against as well. I was going to mention Martin just for his shots, and Matt certainly for his points tally as well of Glasgow Phoenix and Vikings, and Andy Stafford from Knights as well. I was certainly going to give him a mention because I've enjoyed watching him play. So that's me really. I'll hand it over to you guys just if you want to mention anything about coaches or not.
Not really, no.
Right, in that
case. Yeah. So, well, let's have a mention of Benny's obviously here with us. You know, all the success that I've had as a player has been under his coaching. Obviously, I mentioned earlier, I was actually the first amongst us to win a trophy as a coach. Whether he admits to getting anything from that, it's up to him. But seriously, he's always there. When the thing I always say about Ben is, I've mentioned before, he's my best mate along with Tyrone and things like that. But when I'm on the court, whether it's training or playing a game, he's my coach, and he treats me exactly the same way I'm playing for him. And that's something I massively respect. I don't get any special. I mean, he gave me the captaincy, which might, but I don't think that was based on me being his best mate. I think it was just based on experience and things like that. And the same thing, I'm just saying it based on the success I've had with Benny as my coach. I wouldn't want anyone else doing it. But we're quite privileged as the Vikings to have someone who is happy to coach us, and the rewards that he's had as a coach with teams like the Reapers and the Success and the Vikings has given him that stepping stone, and is now coaching for the Great Britain national team. And Bennett, fantastic job. Keep doing what you're doing. I think I echo everyone. Everyone would say fantastic coach and fantastic lad as well. And let's hope we have more success with you going forward.
Thank you.
But not as many poor walls.
I suppose it's an easy thing. So thank you, sir. I appreciate that. But again, I can only say what to do. It's down to all of you lot executing it out there on the court. So I equate back to you and the team. Thank you.
Good stuff. So yeah, those lines that we've got. One thing I do like about the fact that the lines we've picked were, I think there's only Kev where we have actually repeated a pick.
Yeah, it was just Kev that was in.
And that's good because you put that together, and what a team that's going to be, eh? What if you got 3 lines in a team? What a team that will be.
It was interesting because each of you had someone from the Long Eaton Lightning in as well.
Yeah, we've got some good players.
So it's a good selection on choice.
Yeah, I think some really good players, and I think we should got to stress as well, because of the rules that we set ourselves. It will mean a lot of people being left out of the teams, and whether people are bothered about it or not is up to them. But a lot of players could have been picked in my team. I just went with certain reasons, and there's so many good players out there. I never say anyone's a bad player, because everyone comes and plays this sport and loves it. That's why we're here. Let's be honest, it's a minority sport, so people that play the game are doing it because they love it, and not because they have to play it. It's like that, and that's plain to see when you watch all these games being played. So keep doing what you're doing out there, playing ball hockey, growing the game, getting more people involved, and it's fantastic to see the game growing gradually, even during these lockdown times when we're not actually playing. People are doing what they can. Clubs doing what they can to keep growing the sport, and that's based on the coaches, players, management of all the different clubs. I think we'll finish that there with the top lines. Then, well done, guys. Thanks for all your input. Before we go, I want to just switch sports quickly, and I'm quite big on my sporting legends. I want to quickly just move on to the NBA and a player called Vince Carter. You may or may not have heard of him if you're not into your basketball. So the NBA have arranged for 22 teams to come back, starting on the 31st of July. I think they're playing in Orlando. Vince Carter announced his retirement. This will be his last season early on in the year, at the age of 42. The Atlanta Hawks, who he plays for, aren't one of the 22 teams travelling, which means he's played his last game, like I say, at the age of 42, which playing at the top level of a sport at that age is pretty ridiculous. It's fantastic. Just want to go over some figures. So in a 23-year playing career, he played 1,541 games, averaging 16.7 points, field goal percentage of 43.5%, 4.3 rebounds per game, and 3.1 assists. I do hope that going forward, what the NBA do when fans and that get back into the arenas, that the NBA do something for him. So he retired an Atlanta Hawk. His best years arguably will be when he was at the Toronto Raptors. I hope that they do something so he gets a good retirement send-off. He'll be in the Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. I don't think he's in it right now, but he will be in the Hall of Fame. An amazing player. I would recommend anyone to watch his highlight reels on YouTube. When he was at the Raptors, a young guy, his all-star game, slam dunk contests, unbelievable. Some of the dunks he produced in the game, it was the birth of like a new era of slam dunk, of dunking. An amazing player. Happy retirement to Vinsanity. Amazing. So thanks for everyone for tuning in. We've had a lot of fun. Please follow, rate and subscribe us on all your social media platforms that were available, Spotify, Castbox, Apple, all that stuff. Thanks a lot to Mike Lee, Benny Tring, Andy and Tyrone for joining us. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you,
guys.
Cheers.
No problem at all. So, yeah, keep safe, and we'll be back very, very soon with our next podcast. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.